morning. Good morning, YouTube. I almost said Instagram. Honestly, I was just talking about this last night, man. YouTube's so much better. Like, everybody that's here, if you're spending most of your time on YouTube consuming this content, you're a special type of human, man. YouTube's the best. It's the absolute best, man. I also feel like I can just like be my fullest self on YouTube. But anyways, good morning. It's like 6:30 in the morning, pretty early. We're right off of the strip, actually. And I'm going to get my blood work done. It was the only one that could find an appointment at the time that I wanted to go, because I had to go fasted. And I'm like, I'm not trying to fast until like 11 o'clock, you know? So I'm gonna go get my blood work. I get it done every 3 to 4 months. As you guys know, or maybe some of you guys don't know, I'm on performance enhancing drugs. And like, I'm not here to like hide that at all. Now, I'm not here to also like give you my exact protocol. Like, maybe I'll do that one of these days, but I have no interest in doing that. Well, it's important for me to get regular blood work just to see where my markers are at, see if anything needs to be improved, and ultimately be super responsible. Because like, for me, it's like one of my golden rules for this is the fact that like I want my blood work to look better more than it does worse. Because there's some points where, especially during prep, like, you know, my blood work's probably just not going to look that good if I were to check it a couple weeks out, you know. But making sure that everything's in a good, stable level before going into it is important. Like, if I got this blood work back and my results were skewed and shitty, like, I would have no other option but to pull myself out of prep, honestly. Like, I'm just being fully honest, because this is how much this stuff matters to me. Like, to me, bodybuilding isn't a forever thing. For me, like, I want to be healthy, I want to have a family, I want to be athletic and really in shape and kick-ass shape when I'm like 30 plus. And so for me, it's like, I'm not going to be an absolute detriment to my health. And so, if anything, I'm gonna set the standard and show you guys how to fucking do that. All right, so we're getting my blood work done. It's gonna be sick. They're gonna take like 7 vials of blood. That's a lot of blood. I don't like looking at the blood. I close my eyes the entire time. Hopefully this person knows how to hold a conversation, because if they do, it goes by like that. If they can't fucking talk, I feel like I'm sitting in a deathbed for like 20 hours. I can't do this shit, man. Can't do it. Can you do this blood shit, man? No?
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah, fuck, man. Can't fucking do this. Haman's gonna get blood work because he's starting trend next week. It's a shredded breakfast, dude. Kale, egg whites, and eggs. Whole eggs. I have the same breakfast on my rest days. My rest day macros are lower, so I get like 2,400 calories. My meals are like evenly split into 50 carb, 36 protein, and 7 fat per meal. And so my carb source will be my beloved plain bagel, because, you know, I've tasted bagels, man, and, you know, plain bagels are the best bagels. They just go the best with the meal, man. They just go the best with the eggs. And then if you put where the fuck did it come? Nando's peri peri on your eggs, and then you just have that a bagel on the side. It's just the perfect compliment, man. It's just simple, dude. It's just simple, and I just appreciate the simple things in life. You know what I mean? Was this considered a simple thing in life? I think it should be. It should be. After this, I was gonna pose, but I'm like, I'm fucking lean, man. I'm lean. 199 this morning. I want to pose, but I want to like get a meal in, because I want to kind of fill out a little bit before I start posing. I'm gonna go over some men's physique posing tips today, dude. I feel like I have a routine, although I don't know if it is the routine. Although I have a strong feeling it's the routine. You know what I mean? Yeah. Siri, how many weeks until November 5th? It's 13 weeks. Oh, 13 weeks. All right. For 13 weeks out, guys, I can say that I don't know if this is the leanest I've ever been 13 weeks out, but I feel fucking good, man. I feel like really good. And like, the truth is, I'm going to grow into this show. And that's exciting. I have no idea what to expect, because I've never grown into a show. Every prep I've had, I've definitely lost tissue going into the show. So this will be a little bit different. This is what I have put together for my posing routine right now. Honestly, I want to say it's final. I'm pretty fucking happy with it. The only thing that I'm trying to clean up right now is my footwork, because I'm learning a brand new routine. I've never even done this before. I literally came up with it on the spot, and I'm rolling with it, and I think it displays my physique very well. Haman's gonna count this one because I've been practicing this pretty slow just to ensure that like I'm feeling connected with the routine. I know it sounds fucking crazy, but like I genuinely have to connect with everything in this posing routine because I don't have a mirror on stage, right? So I need to feel what it feels like to angle my back in that certain direction and like remember what that feels like. I need to feel my obliques contract and remember what that feels like. I need to feel how far back I have this right arm when I'm getting to this second side pose. Like these are all things that I need to remember, and that's why I'm taking it slow. But I want to speed it up because I know I'll only get like 15, 20 seconds max to do a routine, and I want to see what it looks like when I go to speed things up. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
Okay. I think they're like probably gonna call the next person in line by the time I finish that up, but I don't want to rush it. How did it look? Did it look like I was rushing?
Pretty good, no?
I think the big thing that I need to focus on, and this is like one of my biggest tips for posing guys, is like you never want to transition before you lock that pose strong, right? And so I noticed that I did that in my first pose where I went here, and as soon as my arm went down, I already went to my next pose. Like my goal is I want to lock it, then hit the next pose. Lock it, boom, boom, lock that, lock that, lock that, and then wave. So every pose is a 3-part sequence, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's like the easiest way to learn posing, like learn how to flow and learn how to like know when you need to move, kind of thing. So every pose is like a 1, 2, 3 part movement. As you can see, when I'm getting into a side pose, I'm not looking to flex my rectus abdominis right here, all right? Like, these look great on me, yes, although I have a pretty thick waist, I don't have the widest lats in the world. So like, this isn't my best front shot, don't have the smallest waist, so I hit a twisting shot, but when I'm twisting, if I flex this versus my obliques, it's gonna look different. Flexing my obliques, I wanna show that because my obliques are strong on my right side. I have that nice taper down into the waist. As I bring this lat out, I have that nice taper down into the waist. Now my waist looks small. This is a new pose that I'm gonna implement because again, I have strong obliques, and to me, it shows off my taper, my V-taper in my waist very well. And so posing is all about finding what poses are gonna fit best for you, right? I'm someone that has long arms. And so if I were to hit this pose, I think I would just have too much of a gap between my arms because they're so long. And so typically in this front shot, I would actually look bigger if I just put my hands by my side, right? So it's different for everybody. Not my front pose might not work for you, and that's like completely okay. The back pose is like fairly simple. It's pretty much the same for most people. I kind of do a leaning back shot this way because to me, that adds personality, and I feel like my back is now one of my stronger suits. And so I'm gonna hit 2 back shots to kind of show that off. But like realistically, guys, when it comes to posing, I think one of my biggest tips for men's physique especially is just keeping it simple. Like to me, you might think my routine's kind of flashy. I just don't think it's flashy at all. I think it's very, very simple. To me, men's physique posing is just pretty fucking boring, honestly. But those are like my biggest tips. Like if you have a blockier waist, like make sure that you're twisting and you're facing your hips this way and really turning your shoulders around. And also, always, like no matter what, you're never gonna be posing like this. You always wanna push this lat up into this delt. And so I'm not trying to just put my arm up here, right, and pose like this. I'm literally just focusing on pushing lat up in the delt, lat up in the delt, and that's it. You know that one TikTok sound that's like, have you seen that trend on TikTok?
Mm.
Dude, we're gonna make it right now in this video. You can see by that TikTok, like that's it. You're just pushing that lat up into that delt, and you're never losing this position in any men's physique front pose. If I'm right here, again, my lats are out here, I'm not having my arms super high, this is where I'm hitting. The back pose is, I know, where a lot of people struggle, and I actually posted a video on Instagram that was kind of explaining this. But essentially, think about putting your hands on your hips, rolling your elbows forward, right? By doing that, you're gonna bring out your lats. Okay, so when I turn around, my lats are in a flared position, and all I need to do from here is just take my hands off my waist. And then obviously you want to position your arms to not look weird, so bring them out a little bit. Poke that chest nice and tall, and you're in your back pose. So it's really as simple as that, guys. When it comes to transitions and everything, like you have to think about your footwork. If you can get your footwork down, I promise you that almost no matter what you do with your upper body will look good. All right, so let's say that you're transitioning from a twisting shot right here, and you just want to simply turn around. You could go either way. Regardless, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this right foot in front of my other foot, and now this becomes my pivot foot. So here, any of you guys ever played basketball, think about turnaround jump shot. That's literally all it is. You're turning from right here, plant, pivot, back shot. If you're gonna turn the other way around, same thing. Left foot would come back around, pivot, swing that left foot back around, that right foot back around, to come back to the front to the same pose I was in. You typically want to turn to the side you're going to be on, all right? So I'm just left foot over, pivot, swing that right foot back around, and I'm right here. So notice how I'm never going to take a step and kind of just like this. I'm never gonna do that. Like it's always a 1-2 step. Every step is a 1-2, every pose is a 1-2-3. So you need to remember that. So if I'm doing footwork, it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm a big fan of sliding my feet. That's like just part of my personality that's put into it. But like when you can learn how to move your feet, I can do anything it is with my hands. So like, let's say that I wanted to go from here to here, I could just boom, and then my back shot. Now to come back around, again, I could just come back into this position right here, go like this. Again, if I'm gonna do like a double back pose, I could step 1 here, come back, come into this pose, and then if I want to transition the other way, left foot, boom, and I'm back in my shot already. All right, so like mess around with that a little bit and kind of find transitions work for you. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to posing. When I help clients pose, I'm like, I'm not gonna give you this set rule and this set standard. The only thing I'm gonna help you with is like, let's find your footwork, and then let's see how you're gonna display your physique, your absolute best, and throw your bit of personality into it. And let's come together with that. So if you guys are down for more posing tips, I can do more videos like this. I just want to keep it super simple. I'm gonna run through my routine a couple more times. Also guys, I got coffee this morning and I want to buy you coffee too. So like let me know down below what your favorite coffee order is, what you get, and I'm gonna pick one of you. Also, favorite coffee order and your Instagram tag, and I'll pick one of you and I'll DM you and I'll fucking buy you coffee just for being a supporter of the channel. So let's run through this a few more times. One last tip, guys, is with posing, you should have a level of, especially with men's physique, but I think with everything, you should have a level of calmness and poise with your posing. If I looked at my summer shredding routine, a lot of people were like, dude, that's a sick routine. I'm like, no, I'm gonna criticize myself pretty well because I rushed through it. I was like super high energy, super high adrenaline, and I rushed through it all. And so like a big part of your stage presence is the judges wanna see that like you're fucking owning that fucking stage. Like when you walk out there, they wanna know that like, no matter what this dude knows that he fucking brought a package. Like they see that and they appreciate that shit. And in order to do that, like take your time. Hit your poses strong, maintain eye contact with the judges, have a nice smile, have a nice charisma, you know, and I think that's a really important part of posing. And so with this specific routine, I'm like forcing myself to slow down a little bit with the movements that I'm doing. And so that's a really big part of posing, guys, is make sure that you have this level of calmness about you when you're on stage, because that calmness really shows that you're like asserting a ton of confidence up there. Welcome to the training portion of the vlog. We're gonna have just some raw training footage today. And like my thing is like, I know we did a lot of raw training footage our last prep series. It's because like training, I had to be in the zone. Like I have to get in the zone. And there's some days where I wanna like fuck around and be funny while training, and there's some days where I just like wanna get in the zone. And like this is one of those days that most definitely is going to be a therapy session for me. And I know a lot of you guys watching can relate to that. So sit back, relax, enjoy some subtle grunting here and there, some full range of motion training, and a fucking sick pump, dude. Very rarely do I listen to this. I actually used to train to Alinea like almost all through college. It's like some Heelsy type shit. I like might cry during my training, but like that's the bag I've been through. Now that I've done one exercise, I'm officially ready to fuck shit up. So, from one extreme to the other.
Life is amazing. It is what it should be. That's crazy. Come on. Come on. Come on, yes.
What's up, guys? So, like, real shit in today's video already. In the first episode, you know, I already dropped how this prep was going to be more than just physical transformation, and more than anything, I'm excited to see the man that I've become throughout this journey. And this whole year has definitely been challenging for me. A lot of things have come to light and to surface this week for me, and ultimately brought out feelings that were very painful to feel. Although when I think back to any of the times where I've been really forced to grow and evolve, it's ultimately always been rooted from a feeling of like pain, discomfort, frustration, sadness, whatever that is, and I've always learned to leverage whatever feeling that is in order to create change. Long story short, when I first moved to San Diego, like, that was kind of like a fresh start for me. That was kind of like a brand new chapter. And like shortly after, got into a relationship, moved in with Caroline, and after moving in, I've seen myself throughout the course of 2022 just like lose myself a bit. And I haven't been able to put any of this to words. It's just been a feeling that's been sitting around that I haven't necessarily faced or wanted to uncover or even express myself about. And like, that's the thing that's tough about it, is like, I wasn't expressing these things a lot to the friends that were close to me because I didn't know how to put words to it or describe it. You know, I felt shame around it. Like, I just really stopped taking care of myself. And like, I remember vividly making this video back in like April-ish of me trying to explain myself and saying, hey, I've got to be honest with you guys, I've just like haven't been able to be consistent with YouTube, and it's been difficult for me and those things. And like, a lot of that is very much still true. And in starting this prep series, I almost didn't prep. Like, I almost, like, I told myself for a while that, like, I wasn't in the position mentally to do something like this. And in moving here, like, a big reason as to why, like, I took this leap and decided to move out here to Vegas is, like, I know I needed change. I know I needed to step into a new chapter. And prep is one of those things that I know that I will go all in on. If I'm all in on one thing, it's my goal and my intention to be all in on all things. All in on myself, again. And so when I say that I like stopped taking care of myself, like, I stopped doing like my daily routines and my meditation and like reading books and listening to podcasts super actively. I kind of just like started riding my own wave. Like, I fucking created hell of a life, don't get me wrong. Although I've just hit cruise control for a while now. Genuinely for a while now. And I've lost sight of like the habits and the standards that I uphold myself to in order to be like highly successful for me. And like, to me, that's like just finding little enjoyment in those little things, like the meditation, the walks, the time spent with myself. Like, I've lost a lot of enjoyment in the process.
that sucks. It's like, I wouldn't trade my life for anything. Although, it's been very clear that I've been playing this game of, I want to be the best I can be. I want to create the best thing possible. I want to create the best life possible. And if I feel like I'm falling short of that at any capacity, I ask myself questions of like, why am I not this way? Like, what am I doing wrong? What am I not doing? Like, why am I not doing this, or why am I not here yet? And like, all that does is just consistently drain and drain and drain and drain your energy. And like, that builds up, and it gets really fucking hard on you. Like, genuinely really fucking hard on you. I've gotten a lot away from like the I get to. I've been saying like I have to in a lot of areas, and truth be told, I've just been like struggling with like daily gratitude. I'm not saying that I'm like doing 5-minute journal prompts on gratitude. It's just like finding the little enjoyment and the joy in like the day-to-day things, the day-to-day process. Not giving myself the grace and treating myself with kindness and being kind to myself. I've very much been hard on myself and have drilled myself into the ground in many different situations and moments, just ultimately feeling like I'm not where I want to be. And I haven't allowed myself to just like enjoy what is and just see things for what they are, and understand that like who I am and my character is my destiny. Like, I'm meant to be exactly where I am right now, so can I allow myself to appreciate that and appreciate myself for it and recognize myself and be kind to myself and say, hey, like no matter what, I know that you're not going to quit. And this is me talking to myself right now. Like, no matter what, I know that you're not going to quit. And I know that you have big goals, and I know that you have big aspirations. And like, you will get there as a result of just enjoying the day-to-day process. Whether you have a bad day, a good day, there's always something to come from that. There's always something to be grateful for. It's an active practice every single day. Every single day. And so a lot of it lately has just been like I've been confusing myself a lot. Like, I moved here to Vegas, like I sold my car, there's like a lot of things, and I'm like trying to search for all these answers, and ultimately like this week it all hit. And it was really painful to feel all that, because like looking back on it, I'm like, damn, I haven't been taking care of myself. And like, I just know I could be showing up better. You know, showing up better for just everyone, for you guys. And that's like really hard to come to terms with. And it's simply just an opportunity for me to look at myself in the mirror and get very clear on like, who is the man that I want to become? How would he operate? How would he show up today? In these moments where I'm stressed and I'm down on myself and I'm beating myself up, kind of take a step back and operate as my higher self would, as the person I want to become would, or even my 85-year-old self would, and approach things that way and see things in that lens. And like Ed Milet says this, but it's like, what would I do today if I only had today? How would I operate? How would I treat people? How would I treat myself? How would I see the world? How would I soak up and romanticize every moment? Like I remember when I used to like make myself steaks and pour myself a glass of wine and like play John Mayer. Like when I first moved to San Diego, I was doing that when I was living in Houston too. I was like just enjoying the moment to that extreme. Like that's what it's all about, guys. It's not about like the success. It's not about like it's not about the money. It's not about like what you have or what you get. It's about who you become. And everything else is a byproduct of that. It's about how you choose to live your life and enjoy every single moment. Like, if I were to take everything away, like, who am I? And to me, I've understood that, like, I'm a loving, charismatic, high-energy dude that just loves serving people, that just loves giving to people, that loves making people smile, that chooses to see the best in people, chooses to see the light at the end of the tunnel always. And in order to be that person, like, I gotta be honest with myself and say, hey, like, she's gotta change. You know, from here, it's like, I felt that moment, and I felt that, in that moment, I felt so much pain. And ultimately, like, I don't want to feel that again. You know, and like, in order to create, I'm a firm believer of this, in order to create change, in order to create transformation, like, change requires pain. Like, some of you are not in a position right now to where you find yourself in the best shape. And like, you know you gotta get in better shape. Although you haven't felt what it feels like to like look at yourself in the mirror and look that way or feel that way. You haven't felt what it feels like to not be able to set a good example for your kids or your family or the people that you care about. You haven't felt what it feels like to say, hey, if my life looks like this another 6 months, 1 year, like, what will happen to me? Like, how is that going to affect my health? Like, you haven't allowed yourself to feel that in order to create the change that you want to. And like, everybody can create leverage. I can create leverage right now. Because I've felt these things and because I've come to awareness of these things, like, I will change. Like, I will leverage this. I will leverage these feelings. And I could allow this pain to swallow me whole, or I could allow myself to leverage what I'm feeling right now and say, hey, I don't want to feel this. And there's a hell of a lot of life to enjoy. There's a lot of growing to do. And like, ultimately, I found that like, if I'm not learning, I'm not growing. If I'm not growing, I'm dying. And so like, what I've committed myself to is like creating a winning routine for myself again. Looking to learn more about myself and uncover more about myself and express more of myself. It's like, that's part of the game, guys, is that like, I've closed myself off from like expressing these things to so many people. And none of this shame or this guilt or this resent or these words or this hatred that I'm putting towards myself, none of that exists in spoken word. None of that shame, none of that guilt, none of that survives spoken word. And ultimately, like, this week, I felt so much relief in being able to express these things to Hanman, to Caroline, to my friends, and phone calls, and I'm like, I'm excited for the growth. Hanman and I are literally going to Joshua Tree this weekend. I booked it so spontaneously. And part of the reasons I did that is because I'm a super spontaneous dude. I love taking myself on dates. And I'm like, when's the fucking last time I did that? Like, I haven't allowed myself to just do that recently. And so I'm like, I'm going to go there this weekend. I'm just going to be present with myself and these thoughts and these emotions and everything that I've come to awareness of, and like, give myself the game plan. From now, and like, I'm using prep as the example because to me, this is literally just an all-in development journey for myself. That's what transformation is. If you're so committed to just one aspect, especially the personal side of it, everything else follows. Genuinely, everything else follows. And so I don't have a sliver in my mind that whatever it is that I want in life is going to be a byproduct of who I become. The man I become, the partner I become, the leader I become, the friend I become, everything. So I just wanted to share that with y'all and just like be real and open and honest, is that like this year's been a struggle. And I haven't allowed myself to feel any of it for such a long time. I'm just pushed forward, went another day. And like, it's not cool. It's not a fun way to live. It's like I get to do so many things, and like, I'm so grateful to get to do what I do, but like, it takes that, and it takes it to a 4 out of 10. Like, when you're not just allowing yourself to be honest with yourself. So us humans, man, we do really fucking good at not being honest with ourselves. But if you made it to the end of this, like, seriously, thank you. I don't think I would have been able to come on here and express these things. And like, maybe some of this relates to you guys. I'm just here uncovering more about myself, and I just want to take you guys through that process and just be real as fuck. Because I'm not perfect. I'm a highly flawed individual. I'm just here to respond to moments like this. I'm just like, that's what life is. You know, life's all in how you decide to move forward and how you choose to respond based off experiences, events, emotions, and feelings. And so that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to be a hell of a ride. And I'm excited to watch this video back in a couple months from now and be like, God damn, dude, you grown, dude, but also like, thank you. So I'm ultimately grateful for all of the challenge and all of the struggle this whole year. Because without it, I wouldn't have these tools. I wouldn't have this clarity on like where I can improve. There's no such thing as just riding your own wave, dude. Like there's always going to be bumps and there's always going to be problems that need to be dealt with. So don't run from them. Look at problems as your biggest gift. I'm giving advice to myself in hopes that it helps you out. So appreciate y'all, love y'all. If you made it to the end again, drop a like, leave some hearts down below. You guys are appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one.